Hey, it looks like we finally went. All right, let me kick Facebook off. 6 minutes and what, 3 or 4 attempts to get on tonight. So, all right, we are going now. We'll give everybody a few seconds. We lost the first stream where we already had people on. Let me kick Facebook off here and get it rolling as well. We'll see if anybody even gets on back on, since the whole thing's been kind of screwed up once again tonight. So we'll see what happens. We may not get anybody back on. Let's see. We are on Facebook now as well. So we are connected on both formats. We got to see if anybody gets on. Matt's here with us. We had 6 or 8 people on the other stream. There's Bill Disk. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody gets back on with us. What are you doing, knucklehead? Hey, meow. David W is here. All right, like I said, we're going to wait a minute or so, let everybody hopefully get notifications that we're back on. Lee from New York made it. Looks like a few people are getting back on. That's a good sign. John Sanderson here. Tully VW. No, it really wasn't any excitement. We just couldn't get on. The last several weeks, it's been kind of a disaster, and tonight was no exception. Hey, Perry from Connecticut, Kevin Ells, John Anderson. So, no, you didn't miss any excitement. We've all been sitting there twiddling our thumbs trying to get this thing to work. Ryan and Amy are here. All right. So, it looks like we've got a few people back on. We've got a couple people starting to get on over on Facebook. Tim B's here. So, glad some of you guys are making it back on. What about you? What about you, Kat? Okay, let's see. What? You gonna come say hi? Oh, great, Matt. I appreciate that. That's another thing that page is great for. Thanks for throwing that up. Ken from Illinois is here. Jim's on. Randall on the Nut Farm. Yep. So some of you guys may have to reload. That was Pete that just texted and said he's still, like, apparently the other stream may still be hung up or something. I'm not real sure. I don't know what this thing's doing. It's been a disaster. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hello, how are you? What are you doing? Do you mind? We're trying to have a show here. Hey, do you mind? We got people over here hanging out. Yes, you. Well, you at least should say hi while you're here. Turn around, say hi. Turn around, say hi. Yes, say hi. Hey, there's Alan. Yes, you say hi to everybody, Knucklehead? Yes, you're purring. You seem perturbed. Are you perturbed? Are we bothering you? Yes, what are you doing, Knucklehead? All right, you want down? Hey, there's Neil. Actually, Neil, we're just getting started. We've been fighting with YouTube, so. Whoa, come back. You don't get on the keyboard. Emma says hi. Yep. That's right. You could be right, Nut Farm. Okay, you just probably need to get down. Are you going to say, you're going to go say, give him a close-up hi? Come here. Ow! Those are claws. Man. Come on. There you go. Now you're out of the way. Our camera's kind of messed up here. That's all right. We'll straighten it back out. Yes, you got in the way. All right, let's square things back up a bit after our helper decided to exit the premises. And we can get caught back up and get ready to roll. Okay. Ryan and Amy went and got a 245 Studebaker. It's pretty cool. Leo made it. David W. That doesn't sound unreasonable at all for a Hemi car, David W. That's right, Neil. She didn't like that. So, entrance and an exit, that's for sure. Hey, Kenny made it tonight. Andy the Rusty Oakie's here. Ron made it. Dad's here with us. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get moving here now that somebody's left the chat. Let's bust out a Hudson badge. Let's bust out an Auburn badge. Let's get things going. And before we get too far in, let's get through some of our housekeeping as usual. Autocorrect, please double check your comments before you hit send so I can make sure I understand what you're saying. If I can't understand it, I will probably just skip it and keep moving. I try to catch most comments, but if I can't make them out, I have to skip them. If you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. So you have to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel to participate in the chat. Matt, you picked up a load of Model A parts. No problem, Andy. Trolls, we do occasionally get trolls on here. We've got a lot of them weeded out with some of the parameters we've put in place, but occasionally we do still get one on here. You guys do a great job making sure they know that they are not welcome. I appreciate that. Ads, we are dealing with ads. It is their system, obviously, and they can kind of do what they want, so they do put ads on there. Briggs made it tonight. And as always, we do have our supercharged super chat badge warmed up and ready to go for any super chats. Pete made it over. There's still 4 people on the other chat that's hung up. So hopefully Matt threw it up on the No Buddies page. So hopefully that somebody will see that and get them over here so that we're ready to go. But anyway, speaking of the No Buddies page, what's been going on the No Buddies page? Bill Disk working on an 89 Chevy pickup. That's pretty cool, Andy. Andy out with his daughter driving the old 56. Oh, there's some of Matt's scores. Check out Matt's scores there. It's a cool little tractor. Iola. I know some of you guys were going to Iola. Some good stuff from Iola. I've never been to that one. Obviously, Old Cars Weekly is there. Since those two kind of go hand in hand, they basically started that event, so 50 years ago. So anyway, great to see the participation on the No Buddies page. If you're not on there, get on there, answer the questions. Andy will get you in the group. Andy and Zach manage that for us. So, oh wow, taking Grandma out in the old 56, 150 miles. Holy cow! Jeff from Ottawa, Mike from New Waverly, Texas is here. So all the participation on there is great, guys. Everybody keeps up with what their projects are, what you're finding, things like that. It's awesome. So I appreciate all the participation there, and Andy and Zach for taking care of that page for us. What's been going on this week? Not much for me. I've been around working. Didn't go anywhere this week, which is kind of weird because that's the first time in a couple months where I was like here for like 7 consecutive days. But I did get some stuff done. Hey, there's Dennis. And I got a lot of videos done that are going to be coming up very, very soon. Some stuff we've been waiting on. You guys remember that one car that I told you about that I bought that has 154 miles on it, was donated to a school? Didn't know if it was a test mule or it was a production car because it's got a VIN, but they never shipped it or anything. So, hey, there's Big Job. But it's got 154 miles on it. I bought it like a year and a half ago. I got stuck in a building and never got the video done on it. So I did roll that out. Hey, Tim's here, and got the video done on that car. Oh, the 56, that is pretty cool. That is most of you guys haven't seen it. Members have seen it. That's a pretty decent looking old car, though, isn't it, Pete? Great color scheme, 56 Bel Air sports sedan. It's just an original car, no motor in it, but the body's not terrible. Cool colors. So yeah, you guys, most of you will see that next Friday night. But members, it's up now on the 56 Bel Air. So you can definitely go in and check that one out. If you're in the membership groups, Super Nobody and Higher. And that's a neat car. I think somebody will do something with that car. So I got the video shot on that 154-mile Chrysler. Did a video on 47 Buick Super. What's this one? Oh, did a super cool Studebaker video. And did a shot at the video on the 1974 Chrysler New Yorker Brougham Coupe in triple black. The one that came with the Imperial. So all that stuff is already shot. It's uploaded. That stuff will be rolling out over the next several weeks. As well as we've still got stuff coming from Auburn Court Duesenberg. We've still got stuff coming from Pioneer Village. We got some of that stuff up this week. But I think we've got 4 or 5 more from Auburn Court Duesenberg and 2 or 3 more from Pioneer Village. So, okay, great, Tim. If you answer the questions, Andy will probably jump on and get you in so that you can get into that group. So a lot of cool stuff coming from Auburn Court Duesenberg yet. No, Joe, that's one thing I didn't do was the turbo superchargers. I did not get those done yet. Nut Farm still trying to catch up on the yard walk. So anyway, I did get a lot of that stuff done this week, which is good. Actually spent some time in the yard, got some cars moved around, got some stuff picked up. A lot of busy work, but it's stuff that, I was moving cars today that have been sitting there that have been needing to move for 6 months. So some things like that are finally getting done. But my next couple of weeks are going to be busy again as well. Speaking of which, next Sunday I will probably be here. I am going to be out of town next weekend. But I should be back Sunday night. If for some weird reason something goes haywire, I will attempt. If nothing else, I'll put it up on the No Buddies page. That's another thing that's not working with YouTube right now. If you've noticed, sometimes appreciate that, Andy. Usually I try to put like a reminder up on Sunday. If you've noticed the last couple weeks, that has not popped up. That hasn't been from me not doing it. It's because that's not working either. The memo part or the note part where you can put a little note up for people is not been working the last few weeks either. So anyway, more trials and tribulations, I guess, but it's their game. There isn't a lot we can do about it. But we do have some cool videos that I did get shot getting ready to up or that are uploaded that will be coming out. I've got a lot more to do this week. What do I need to shoot yet this week? 48 Cadillac, 60 Chevy station wagon, milk truck, Dodge truck, Mustang convertible, Lincolns, Continental. We got a lot of great stuff we got to get shot this week. So, but anyway, and we need to get those turbo superchargers shot too, Joe. That's for sure. So anyway, what else is going on this week? Meekham's summer event in Florida, the Summer Kissimmee Special. I've not talked to Jim Wicks, but looked at the results. Dad watched a bunch of it. I skimmed it a little bit last night. I didn't spend a lot of time on it, but seemed like a lot of bid goes on stuff. Looked like just glancing, looked like a decent sale, but I don't think it was a real barn burner of a sale. But I was shocked at the amount of bid goes on cars for a Florida auction. They don't do 2 of them because they don't make money. They do 2 of them because they're usually really, really good. So that's kind of what it's kind of surprised to see, kind of a mediocre type sale, I guess, from a quick glance. We'll see when that happens when they release numbers and things like that. But that's kind of what it looked like to me, at least. But anyway, we've got some stuff. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Boom. Supercharged super chat from Randy at the Nut Farm. Supercharged super chat. This makes it a lot more fun, I think, doesn't it? Besides the fact that this is a hood emblem off a 36 Auburn Supercharged Speedster, it's there we go, Nut Farm. Thanks to the Nut Farm for the Supercharged super chat. First one of the night. You bet, Ryan. This next Studebaker we've coming up is a car. The video I shot this week, it is a weird car. Here's how weird this car is. Just going to give you a little bit of a heads up on this deal. Found this car, actually the same place we've got the 56 Bel Air that Pete was just talking about. It had weeds up about halfway up the side of the car. So I could see the greenhouse, the roof line on up I could see all that, but I couldn't see any trim. I had to walk around the front and stomp the weeds down to see the nose of it. When I walked up on this car and could just see the roof line and the windows and the belt line, I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen one. I've already told you now that it's a Studebaker, but I'd never even seen one. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't know anything about it. So, it's rough. The glass was knocked out of it years ago. It's just a parts car, but I didn't even know they made these things. For me to walk up on a car and not have any clue what it is, I knew it had to be something odd because it wasn't a GM or a Ford. I know those well enough. I would have recognized the roof line, things like that. So I knew it had to be Studebaker, Kaiser, something. What in the world is that, cat? Making some sort of weird noise. I knew it had to be one of the, Hudson, a smaller brand. It turned out to be a Studebaker, but I literally did not know what it was when I walked up on it. So that should give you an idea that it's something kind of different. But anyway, what else we've got lined up for tonight? I did not pick up any cars this week, so we don't have any new inventory coming in. We've got some ads to check out. We've got a badge. We've got a sales brochure. We've got a hubcap. We've got another good Chevy promo model. Hey, there's Big Rig Brett. So we've still got some fun planned for the evening. We'll see how things go. We'll see how the chat goes. We'll see what you guys have to say. And keep on moving through things. So let's work through the list here. Yeah, we need to do that, Pete. I almost tried to see if you want to sneak one in last week or this last week, but every night there was something going on. I will not be in town on Thursday night, so we may be able to jump on, or we may be able to do it Wednesday. But yeah, we need to do that. I'm ready whenever you guys are, and if it works better for you guys to bounce to a different night for 1 week, we can kind of leave Thursday as our staple, but we can sure manipulate that around if we need to based on what your guys' schedules are. How about a cap? It's laying right here. This is an interesting one. Going back to one of our mini boxes of grease caps to the mid-20s. And this is an oddball, so we're going to learn a little bit of history about this company. Back to our amazing website, AmericanAutoEmblems.com, where we find out a lot of great history on a lot of these early makes that didn't survive. But in 1901, John Wilkinson had completed two air-cooled prototype cars for the New York Automobile Company, but he was not paid for his work. However, Herbert Franklin was impressed and agreed to provide financial support. Therefore, the Franklin Automobile Company was established, and the first production Franklin was sold in June of 1902. All the first Franklin cars were four-cylinder runabouts. In 1904, a Franklin runabout was driven from New York to San Francisco in just under 33 days. A month to drive across country. breaking all previous records and demonstrating the durability and robustness of the Franklin. The engine of the Franklin was placed at the front of the vehicle under a barrel hood in 1905, with a distinct Renault-type hood following in 1911, and the equally distinctive Franklin horse collar radiator in 1921. Franklin also built air-cooled commercial vehicles with a 3/4-ton truck available from 1905, followed by a range of vehicles from half-ton to 2-ton capacity. By 1912, heavy trucks were discontinued, but half-ton Renault-type taxi cabs continued to be available for a while longer. All was going well with Franklin until pressure from Franklin distributors demanded a more conventional radiator design. Herbert Franklin eventually agreed, but John Wilkinson resigned. However, the Franklin continued successfully and won several endurance contests and became a favorite of both Cannonball Baker and Charles Lindbergh, for whom the 1928 Franklin Airmen Series was what was named. The Great Depression had a serious effect on Franklin, as it did on most of these small manufacturers. From a production of over 14,000 cars in 1929, output fell to under 2,000 in 1932. A group of bankers was in control of Franklin, and some new models were introduced for the 1933 model year, failed to meet the hallmarks of previous Franklins, such as high quality, low weight, and reliability. One of these new cars for 1933 was a V12 luxury car, but it was expensive, heavy, and lacked a stylish design. The other new car was the Olympic, which was a Rio-built car carrying Franklin emblems. These new designs were unsuccessful, and after building only 360 cars in 1934, it was all over for Franklin. So what do we have tonight from the Franklin? This is, oh, excuse me. The 1925 to 1928 wood wheel grease cap. That's a good question. Big job. Where's the guys that went to Iowa? That is not far. We're giving it away in a couple weeks. You got to make sure you're in the raffle. I think you're already in, actually. Hey, Steve's on with us. This had the hex part out here, internal threads, as all these grease caps do, but a very detailed badge on the Franklin Automobile Company grease cap, Syracuse, New York. There goes the hearts. That's a good sign. Briggs, his uncle, has a 24 Franklin. So that's awesome. That's what's great about, throwing all this history out there, talking about all this history, is that it actually ties together for some of you guys. But I thought it was a good looking cap. Thought it was definitely worth checking out tonight. And there again, learning a little bit more history about the Franklin Automobile Company, courtesy of our favorite website, the American Auto Emblem page, where we get all this cool old history on all these small manufacturers. Hudson badge. Ready for the emblem? Should we do an emblem? Absolutely, Briggs. That's another great thing about that page. We talk about stuff on here, and then you can post it over there. Another badge from the Lincoln collection tonight. If you guys caught the video we threw up last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week. From the Lincoln auction. Obviously, we've got videos to do on the cars yet, but we've been squeezing in some emblems from a big box of Lincoln emblems that I did buy at the auction. This one is the Premier badge. This one does have some pitting in it, but it's not broke. On the Lincoln Premier, these went on the rear quarter panels of the 56s, and I'm not sure if the 57 used this or not. Big starburst at the end. These were kind of a gold-plated deal. A lot of the gold anodizing is worn off of this particular one. The studs are broken, one stud here intact. This thing is kind of sharp, though. I mean, almost jab somebody with that thing. With a big starburst on the end of the Premier badge. Oh, you're back. Meow. 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 It is. Whoa, come back here. Just a hair over a foot long. Basically 12 inches. There goes the hearts. And the starburst is 3.5. 3.5 tall. So kind of a neat looking piece. From the Lincoln auction, the 1956 Premier, maybe 57 as well, Premier badge. There's an Auburn badge. But anyway, we haven't sold anything yet tonight. Anybody interested in a Lincoln emblem? We going to do some auctions tonight or what, guys? We're going to squeeze a few things in. What do you want to do? There isn't that much creativity in a whole car. That's a very good point, Pete. Matt's ready for some auctions. Bill is. Kevin L just started us off at 10. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and sell this one. As always, we'll go 90 seconds. I will tell you when 30 seconds has passed. I'll tell you when 60 seconds has passed. No big stuff tonight. So anything tonight will be auctions of VW parts. Anything tonight will be shipping will be included in the final purchase price. However, if it's one small piece, I may save it a couple weeks till you get 2 or 3 things built up before we do ship. And that's fine if you don't want to pay until you get a couple things built up either. I don't have a problem with that either. Just as long as, the only problem is when stuff sits here for 3 or 4 months and then I don't remember whose it's what's, and I'm going through pages and notebooks trying to find stuff. Hey, there's baling wire. So, all right. We'll go ahead and do this, and then maybe we'll squeeze a plate in or something here. Let's go ahead and roll with this. Kevin L at 10, and we are on the timer. Non-U.S. bidders, you're welcome to play. However, you will have to get me paid in U.S. funds and be responsible for non-U.S. shipping. But we are live on the Lincoln Premier badge. John, 11. Not broken, other than a few studs, and definitely has some pitting, but still a pretty cool piece. Just past the 30-second mark. John at 11. Hey, there's Steve. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Nope, no Bitcoin, no IOUs. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Check money order, Western Union, PayPal, friends and family. Coming down to the end, John at 11. That's all we got going right now. Kevin L 15, Bill Disc 16. Few seconds left to go. Pete 17. And that does it. Pete got that in about 129. Kevin L at 18. Bill Disc at 18. But it was all too late. Pete at 7. And that was going to be really tough because there was only about a second and a half left after that. But I guess you guys are learning where the delays are at tonight. So that got real. I kind of figured that because that's a really cool, unique piece. Hey, there's Scott with us on Facebook. And there was like those 2 bids until like a minute 20. So, all right. You want to do a license plate or something real quick, guys? Let me grab some stuff here. Anybody want? We haven't done a can in a while. Anybody want to do a can? I got a cute little can. What do you want to do? A can, a plate? What do you guys think? Yes, yes, yes. All the above. Okay. How about this? We haven't done one of these in a few weeks. How about a tire ashtray? This is really odd. Look at this tread pattern. I don't know if it's like industrial, but it actually doesn't have a brand name on it. It's a really unique one. Obviously a cool tread pattern, but no name on it whatsoever. It's actually got the little dimples in it for where you could rest your cigarette. Does pop right out. Snaps right back in. So kind of a unique tire ashtray. This one is 5 inches in diameter. So it's a little bit smaller than some of these, but a very unique one that we don't see very. I don't know if I've ever seen one like this because they usually look like a car tire or a truck tire, or they did a lot of tractor tire ones as well. So let's do this. Then we'll do a can or a plate or something. Tire ashtray. That's right. You make it whatever you want. Jeff said it is a farm tractor tire. Okay. So pretty cool piece. That's right. Put your own name in it. Brett, Big Rig Breck, starting us off at 5. And let's get this one rolling. Nut Farm, 10. Very narrow for a tractor type tire, though. Usually the tractor tires are pretty beefy. This thing's only basically about an inch wide. "30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go." We're going to wait towards the 1 minute mark. One minute down, 30 seconds left to go. Maybe it could be. Could be a rototiller tire. Tim B, 15. Getting ready to wind it up. Tim B at 15. And that does it. Tim B at 15. Nut Farm had a 16 in there, just too late. All right, now we'll do this little can. Sounds good, Tim. This is a cute little guy. Where's our Skelly fans out there? Skell Ease, gasoline additive for valve and upper cylinder lubrication. This has got to be one of the cutest size cans they ever made. Check this little feller out. This was a gas additive. Still has the cap on it. The back is kind of faded. This must have been like sitting in a window with the back out or something, because the side that matters looks pretty good, but the back is faded. There goes the hearts. Glad you guys like this. I love this thing. It's a cute little guy. And with a lot of these Skelly cans, we see all these oil derricks along the bottom here in their graphics, as well as, of course, the big Skelly across the top. Lots of hearts, lots of hearts. So good looking can, red, white, and blue. Super cute little dude. Let me give you an idea on size, just so you understand what I'm talking about here. The can itself, this little dude is 2 3/8. The can is, and all the way to the cap, it's about 3. And it's about 2 1/4 in diameter. So cute little guy. I know it's not a $100 can, but it's still just a super neat little dude. So what are you doing over there? Hey, what are you doing? Yes, you had your nose stuck under that other desk. What? Should we sell you? What? Where'd you go? Hey, come here. You want to show him your trick? Let's show him your trick. Yes, come here. Okay. You don't want to show him your trick where you go upside down? Yes. You don't want to show him your trick where you go upside down? Addie always holds you upside down. Yes. Okay, you can show him later. We're going to sell this can now. You want to sell this can? Here, you can hold it. You can hold it. Okay, sit right there. Whoops. Sit right there. There you go. Sit there. Be a good kitty. You don't like that? You should do something productive. Okay, sit right there. Show them the can. Show everybody the can. Yes, sit right here and model the can for everybody. Can you do that? Nope. Okay. You probably better get down. We're going to sell this can. Yes. Cat in the hat. Yes, you're cat in the hat. Yes. Hold the can like a good kitty. There you go. Good job. There you go. All right. How about you hop down? Yes. How about you hop down? Yes. Hey, there's Frank. Yes, you're a great kitty. All right. Here we go. Okay. Anybody like the little Skelly can? Back to wherever we were at. Now what are you doing? No bids on the Skelly can. I'll throw her back in the box. We'll keep moving. We'll grab a license plate. Oh, Pete, 5. Okay. I was like, this thing's too cool. Somebody's got to bid something on it. What are you doing? Let's get this thing started. We're going to start the timer. You're going to act like a weirdo. Yes, you're going to act like a weirdo because that's what you do. I do not see a year on it. It may have been on the back where it's faded, but there is no year on it. $30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. You are a weirdo. Ow. Those are your claws. Seriously, Cat? This time you need to get down. Okay, you probably should just get down. That would probably be the best idea. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Cat, what is your problem? Meow. Coming out of the end, getting ready to wrap this one up. And one weird cat. You may go with it here at this rate. Andy, 7. And that does it. Rusty Okie at 7. Pete came back with 10, but it was too late. You're turning into a pest. Yes, you are turning into a pest. There goes the bids. Kevin L at 12. Everybody just a little bit too late on that one. You are a weirdo. All right, let me get this noted down. Cat. And we'll grab a license plate here real quick. What? Okay. Good. You're down for a while. That's a good place for you. Let's go ahead and catch a plate. Let's have a Hudson badge, then let's catch a plate. This is a great looking plate too. I almost thought it was Newell stock at first, but it has been used because there's 2 extra holes in it. But condition is amazing. 75 years old, going back to Kansas of 1950. Look at this thing. This is original. Look at that. These are raw aluminum with green numbers and letters. Look at the back of this thing. Now, these 2 holes in the middle here are not supposed to be here. Somebody drilled those holes in it. Other than that, sounds good. Thanks, Tim. This thing is original paint, original finish, 1950 Kansas. Basic 12 by 6 size plate, roughly. Just in absolutely amazing condition. So anyway, when I looked at the back of this, I thought it was new. I looked at these holes and saw that it hadn't been used, but then I saw they put 2 holes in it here. This is also a truck plate. That's what the T in Kansas means. 1950 Kansas truck. Probably like on a grain truck based on the condition because it is so nice for being original. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, and here we go. Matt, 5. Just past the 30-second mark. Just under a minute left to go. Ellsworth County. Just north of me. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Coming down to the end. Is that all? We got 5. There's Jesse at 8. A little bit of time left, but not much. Jesse at 8. And that did it. Jesse at 8. Okay, back to kind of our normal routine again. We had some fun with that stuff. Sales brochure tonight is amazing. Actually, the sales brochure tonight, you guys are going to flip, I think. Let's catch the promo model, then we'll get to that sales brochure. Back to our Chevrolet collection of promos. If you guys remember, Dad and I went to an auction last September. 84 Chevy promos, the people that used to be the Chevy dealers in a little town in north central Kansas. Each year took some of the promos home they liked, put them on display in their house, and they sold that collection, 84 promos. Dad and I ended up with 49, got one for Tractor Mike. So 50 of the 84 promos came home with us. Tonight, something a little bit different. Going back to 1965 on the little redesigned Corvair Coupe for 65. Red on red. This is when they redesigned these, had a little better roof line to them. Once again, as with all these we've seen, condition is second to none. None of these had boxes. They did not save any of the boxes. But since these things sat in their house, they were not played with. They were not banged up. They were strictly on display in their house from when they took them home from the dealership. A little bit dusty inside, but you can't see it does have bucket seats in it. And as with all these, a one-piece molded bottom, showing some of the details, but not a lot of extra pieces. Whatever they had to do to show you what was there, without a lot of extra pieces involved. Obviously, this one being Corvair specific, we can see where we do have the engine and everything in the back. It was actually set up the way they should have been, so they could actually show them to customers. Here's where it is. Here's how it's set up. There goes. The hearts are flowing like crazy. Brett's dad had a 68, or had one in 68. So kind of a unique car. Of course, all original tires and caps. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. I'm not a Corvair fan, but it's a pretty darn nice promo. Good color. Pretty nice piece. So, like I said, there's a little bit of everything in this promo collection. Chevrolet-wise, we've got some amazing stuff coming up yet that we haven't shared with you. We've seen a lot of cool, killer stuff over the last several months, and probably have 15 or 20 more to go. So, yeah, we still got a lot of cool stuff to check out. Then we'll get into the other promos I've been buying since we bought this collection. But that's what we've got for tonight. The red on red 65 Corvair Coupe. And like I said, I think this was the first year for this redesign. I think they made this from the old body style was like 60 to 64, and then this body style was like 65 to 69. So, yeah, that was part of the issue, was the floating front end with no weight in the front. And, of course, obviously, Ralph Nader's unsafe at any speed, almost killed the Corvair before it ever even got started. By this point, they had been redefined into a pretty decent little car, I think, at that point. They never, ever really did completely get past the stigma of Ralph Nader's unsafe at any speed. I don't think the car ever, well, I mean, even to this day, we're still talking about it 65 years later. So that does kind of tell you something, that book and the bad rap the Corvair got straight out of the gate really stuck with it. And no matter how good the car was, I don't think it ever really got a fair shake and never really got a good shot to get off the ground and be successful. Even though they did make them up until 69, they just never really did take off like I think the GM had high hopes for. Let's real quick, let's touch on the raffle before we forget about it. This month's raffle, the original 1936 Cord 810 cap, going to be given away in a few weeks. Only a few names in the big Buick oil can at this point. So make sure you are in here sometime in the next few weeks before we give that away. Not something that you're actually going to have an opportunity to stumble onto on a regular basis. We had to do some digging at Auburn Cord Duesenberg to come up with this. It is not the best one. It is a little rough. It's pretty straight. It's got some dings and dents in it, but it's got some fairly heavy surface rust in it. But it's not smashed. It's not destroyed. It is an original, real deal 1936 Cord 810 cap. That very easily could have been true, Jeff. I mean, for the amount of grief and aggravation that that he caused them, it would not surprise me. Actor Ernie Kodak died in one driving in the rain. I have not heard that, Scott. It does kind of look like a helmet, doesn't it, WVW? But anyway, it's a cool piece. So like I said, make sure your name is in the big Buick oil can before we give that away here in a few weeks. Who's ready for the sales brochure tonight? You guys ready for that? It's pretty amazing. In fact, there's two of them for the same year. We may just look at both of them. What the heck? We got a little time tonight. We're not jam-packed on a schedule. But obviously, our promo collection's pretty good. Oh, Kovacs, Ernie Kovac. And I tell you what, guys, every time I open a box of this literature, I find stuff that is just mind-blowing. Stuff you would never even imagine would be in here is in here. And early stuff and later stuff. And some of the stuff does go up into the 80s, even the 90s. But just some of the stuff blows your mind, and that's kind of what we've got tonight. There's 3 in this package. We could do any of the 3. We'll probably do these 2 because they're the same year. Because this is, oh, wow. Okay. This is something else. Is this this one's one's a fold out. Oh. And they made it in a coupe. Okay. All right, guys. We'll start with this fold out. And then we'll go to the actual brochure. I've seen a couple of these cars. Not very many. There was one at Mecum, Kansas City 3 or 4 years ago. I do have a grill for one, but it is definitely not a car that you see on a regular basis. We'll start with the fold-out brochure for the 1938 Shark Nose Graham. Look at this thing. How many of you guys have seen one of these in person? So what do we got inside? Like I said, this is a fold-out. Style notes on the 1938 Graham. Bill's ready for one just off looking at the front cover. Guys, this gets even crazier, though. Let's see what they're talking about. Wide doors. Of course, dramatic beauty. Luxurious upholstery. Built-in taillights. Flick a finger to shift gears. You can shift gears by just flicking a finger close to the steering wheel. With Graham's new Vacuumatic gear shift, the entire front compartment can now be entirely clear, free of the ordinary gear shift lever, plenty of room for 3. The instrument panel reaches new heights in originality and beauty. It's extremely pleasing to look at, easy to read numerals, softly and indirectly lighted, requires only a glance in checking dials. No protruding door hinges, hidden door hinges. Huge deal in the late 30s. Luxury, comfort. Extra wide, deep cushion seats, 57 inches wide front and rear, richly upholstered, placed at the right angle. So some of this stuff is a pretty big deal. You know, hidden door hinges over here for the smooth body lines, that was pretty uncommon at that point. And to make it even better, the official economy champion, an engineering marvel that slashes gasoline costs for motorists, the Graham Supercharger. Yes, you could get them supercharged. And this is the supercharger setup. It's quite an ordeal. Let's fold it out some more. To the poster. The official economy champion now leads the style parade. Graham for 1938. I don't know if it says anything about actual mile per gallon on here. Let's see. Power and economy combined, and Graham doesn't stop at appearance. Wait till you drive this rushing thunderbolt of power. The Graham Special develops 90 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. The Graham Supercharger is 116 horse at 4,000 RPM. Here we go. Twice official economy winner. Graham doesn't have to claim economy. Graham has proven it. Twice the official United States economy winner. Graham has twice won first place in the Gilmore Yosemite Economy Sweepstakes. Graham holds the official economy record of 23.95 miles per gallon of gasoline. The Graham Supercharger is conceded to be one of the world's most effective gas savers, uses far less gasoline per cylinder explosion, slashes gasoline costs, and on both the Graham Supercharger and the Graham Special, you can now get the sensational Graham Automatic Overdrive for added economy at a slightly extra cost. Yeah, they're not very common. Like I said, I do have a grill. We did it on Toy Tuesday a few years ago when I found it. But no, you don't see Grahams very often, but they are quite a car. So anyway, there's the fold out. But we've also got the regular brochure. So who wants to see the regular brochure as well? This is pretty impressive in its own right. Yeah, 24 miles a gallon was a pretty big deal, but you got to remember, almost everything we see on cars today was developed 60, 70, 80 years ago. No, these weren't. I don't think these were made from cord parts. The later ones were. They made a Skylark in like 40 that was the same body as the cord. But these were, this was 38. So this was, immediately after the cord was production ceased on cords. So that was the 40 Skylark, I think, was the cord bodied car that Graham used. That's very true, Big Red. So, the economy, a lot of this stuff back in the day, if these cars were tuned right, they got good miles per gallon. They got good fuel economy. The problem was a lot of mechanical moving parts. You've got a carburetor that is a monitored leak using mechanical parts. You've got a timing system with your points and condenser relying on moving mechanical parts. So in good tune, when they worked, this stuff was fine. However, as it wore, as people didn't take care of things, didn't maintain it, that's when they got bad. This stuff was fine when these engines and vehicles ran at the designed specifications, they were fine. It was just very difficult to keep them there. So on to the brochure for the 1938 Graham. I mean, this is pretty impressive here anyway. But for the brochure, let's put the car in color. Look at that. If that doesn't catch your eye, I don't know what will. Now, the grill that I've got, this is actually up here on part of the hood. The grill that I've got is this piece right here, is what I have for one. So let's take a minute and learn a little bit more about the 1938 Graham. Oh, wow, it's a lot of stuff. Daring, dashing, debonair. Graham strikes an entirely new note in motor car design. Beauty, performance, style, and supercharged. Oh, wow, there's the coupe in color. The Graham Special Combination Coupe and the four-door touring sedan. Two things at once. Posted a pic of the Franklin on nobody's page. And sweet. We'll have to check that out. Let's see if it's up. There it is. That's a good looking car. Nice. Awesome. Glad we get. It's so awesome to be able to throw that stuff up there. Oh, sweet. That looks cool, Pete. There's that Hemi Charger. That's not a bad looking car. Sweet. That's awesome. You guys can throw that stuff up there. That's a good looking Franklin. Back to our Graham, though. In color, the coupe and the sedan in the special series. The supercharged coupe and touring sedan. Looks pretty much the same other than a different emblem on the hood. And they've got it in blue and red too. Wow, look at these. Look at the color and the artwork on these things. Style notes. From Eleanor Hunter, noted fashion writer, looks at the new Graham from the woman's angle. Plenty of elbow room, light touch, wide doors, roomy interiors, safety styled instrument panel. Extra large trunk. The features to appeal to the female of the household. And the supercharger. F.F. Kishline, Graham's chief engineer, gives a simple explanation of the Graham supercharger. On land, in the air, and on sea. Supercharged engines hold all records for performance, speed, and economy and fuel consumption. Supercharged engines have been available in cars costing $2,500 and more, but now Graham makes it possible for practically everyone to enjoy the benefits and the thrills of supercharger motoring. Now, this is quite an ordeal. We saw the overall picture of it on the engine. Here we can see just the supercharger and get a little bit better idea of how Graham configured this one. It literally drove off something in the lower part of the engine is where it hooked up to drive this thing. So quite an ordeal. The supercharger itself, pancake style, looks very similar to the ones that we've seen on the Cords at Auburn, Cord Duesenberg. However, those are up on top of the engine. This one actually set off to the side. Engineering high spots of the new 38 Graham. Just like in a lot of these things, so much actual technical data. The aluminum cylinder head. Talks about the suspension, the fifth spring attached to the frame and front axle eliminates sway and body roll. Aluminum alloy pistons. 100% hydraulic brakes, pretty big deal. Ford didn't even have hydraulic brakes yet in 38. 39, first year for juice brakes with Ford. Water jackets in the engine. Cadmium silver bearings. Yes, this is literally talking about engine bearings. In today's sales brochures, or you don't get brochures anymore. I guess they do still have some, but your car buyer wouldn't have a clue what any of this stuff is today. But back then, those were the selling features. They wanted you to know you were getting a quality, well-built car that was going to last and hold up. The automatic overdrive and the vacuumatic gear shift. With the new Graham vacuumatic gear shift, there is no effort required to shift gears, and you hardly need to move your hand from the wheel. With your hand still in contact with the steering wheel, you merely operate a miniature gear shift lever with your fingertips. There's nothing new to learn. You use the same familiar gear positions, but the vacuumatic gear shift does all the work. Since the vacuumatic gear shift eliminates the ordinary gear shift lever, the floor of the front compartment is all clear. There's plenty of room for the three to ride comfortably with much more extra legroom. The vacuumatic gear shift is optional at a slight extra cost. Every 38 Graham can be equipped with it. It does show a picture of it. It does not tell us really much about how it works. An automatic and overdrive transmission was available with them as well on the 38 Graham. Now, right here is where it's actually showing us the gear select lever. So regular shift lever was still standard, or you could get an optional vacuumatic gear shifter. Dave Ford lovers here. You're 100% right, John. Shift pals in 38, yep. And when you look at just the artwork and the design and the detail, we look at the close-up just on that shifter picture, all the detail that went into that one picture. and the specifications in the back, as well as a very happy female driver in her new van. And then the back cover matches the front. But yeah, it is. This stuff is amazing. It is true art as far as I'm concerned. What they put into these brochures. I mean, you didn't have the internet. You couldn't just punch up Google reviews on anything. You couldn't punch up Google reviews on a fly swatter like you can today. You had to go to the dealerships. You had to talk to people. You had to pick this stuff up. You took these brochures home and you sat down at the dining room table and you went through the specifications of what was available on that particular car. When you had these brochures out, whether you're looking at a Graham or a Ford or a Chevy or a Studebaker or anything else, that's why this stuff was important. These engineering points were a big deal because these were laid out on the dining room table as people were studying their new car. You couldn't just punch it in on the internet and get 150 different opinions, most of from people who don't know what they're talking about, but you can, like you can on the internet today. Back then, this stuff was important because these would literally be out on the dining room table, sitting there on the sofa, flipping through these, studying, doing the research about what type of a new vehicle you wanted to buy. Absolutely, John. We'll never see this type of stuff again. That's why this literature collection is just so amazing. And like I said, guys, we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. You guys that were on live that night when I backed the truck in, when we went an hour on Toy Tuesday, we just kept grabbing stuff. Everything I opened, it's just like, no way, that's insane. So much crazy stuff in here. When's the last time, or has anybody ever seen the brochure for a Graham? Most people have never even seen a 38 shark nose Graham. And we've got both the fold out and the regular sales brochure. Crazy. So anyway, like I said, we're just we could be on for days going through this stuff. But you guys are just seeing samples of what is in there, and it's nuts. Got something else we're going to shake up a little bit tonight. We ain't had a Hudson badge in a while, though. I do know that. I have not seen a Bricklin brochure yet. For as much Ford stuff is in here, though, there's a good chance there might be one. But I do think I have a Bricklin coming to my auction. I had a guy get a hold of me about bringing a Bricklin to the auction this year. So we might be selling one here in a few months. We'll see how that works out. But what we've been calling story time, we may start calling it flashback, story time, flashback, whatever. We're going to shake it up a little bit tonight, show you something different. Great day, Ford lover. We've been going through a lot of Dad's files, looking at pictures in the scrapbook of cars that he did, rebuilt, flipped back sometimes 40, almost 50 years ago on some of these. I got something else out the other day. I hadn't seen this in a long time. I asked if he still had it, and he did, because I wanted to use it in a video I did. Because I got a car in, just like some of the Buicks that we'd moved from his place. So I said, "You still have the card file box?" And he said, "Yes, he did." So we went and got it out of his office in the shop, and this is what we've got. This box is 8.5 inches long, okay? And it is full of note cards on cars. So there's all kind. I see some super cool stuff in here. So we're going to start grabbing some of these, working some of these in with the repair files and notes. But these are all cards on cars that Dad had over the years. Some of these, this is all Buick here in the front. Some of these are still in the yard. Other makes that he had over the years. All these back here, cars that he sold over the years. Some of the stuff that we've been looking at is probably in here. There's other contact information in here, swap meet information. But for instance, just to show you guys an idea of what this stuff is, and some of this we can tie to some of the other stuff we're doing with the files and things like that as well. In October of 1986, Dad bought a 1930 Buick 40 Series. That's right, Pete. You had to write everything down back then. You're exactly right. For $95, it looks like. VIN number was 30009. He sold the hubcaps for $25. He sold the cover off of it for $8. He sold the motor out of it for $300. The transmission for $250. Sold the upper cowl molding for $20. Plug cover $15. Ignition switch $20. Hood latches $36. Off this 1930 Buick. So that's what all this stuff is. So if there's something you guys are curious about, and we have one, we may have it in here. All kinds of cool stuff in here that Dad sold. Oh, this is interesting. $1970 Buick GS Stage 1. Bought it in 1982 for $125. And believe it or not, the reason he bought this Stage 1, that Z28 is probably in here. Well, it might not be because it was only here for a couple weeks. We'll have to see. He bought this Stage 1 because he wanted the buckets and console for his GS convertible. So then I thought I was going to do something with this car. I traded it for a guy for a 63 Riviera, is what I ended up doing with it eventually. Here's an interesting one. $1970 Chevelle two-door hardtop. Bought it for $46.35. It was wrecked, and he got it for the towing and storage bill on it. He bought it because he put the motor in his 69 Chevy pickup that we used to have. Sold the front seats for $40. Front clip for $150. Disc brakes $40. Console and shifter looks like it says $20. Windshield $35. Transmission for $140. And I don't even remember this car, so it wasn't around long. But yep, had all that written down from when he bought that. It was a Rec 70 Chevelle and bought it for the towing and storage bill on it. So it's interesting. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is from way back. $1968 Impala Super Sport. Bought it for $100. Sold the motor for $100. Console and shifter, $40. Sold 5 wheels for $40. Sold the transmission for $82.50. Front disc brakes, $75. Seat belts for $10. The front end, doors, and deck lid for $65. Then after he stripped it out, he gave it to 281 Auto Salvage, the yard that's just up the road from me. Does not have a year on this particular one, though. So there's all kinds of cool stuff in here. We'll kind of keep flipping through some of it. Yeah, I'd be broke pretty quick at those prices today. There's cars in here that he sold, we've bought back. In fact, I saw the card for the General Lee in here the other day. I don't know where it's at now, but the card for the General Lee is in here when he sold it. Whoa, just flip those cards up. So, yeah. A lot of cool stuff in here. That there's all the Pontiac cards. So something a little bit different. We'll start looking at a few of these as well. And maybe we can tie some of these cards to some of the other information as well as possibly some pictures. And like I said, there's cards in here, and you'll see it on this upcoming video where we have the cards in here, looking at the cars, tying it to cars that are coming in for new inventory. So kind of neat. Great records that Dad kept. Fun to be able to go back and look at this stuff now. What was odd was some of the purchase prices on some of this stuff that he would buy at like an auction. You know, a lot of stuff in here for $50, $75, $35. '60 Buick LeSabre, bought it for $15. Yep, obviously, Pete. So anyway, guys, if you guys think this is cool, we'll work some of this stuff in as well. Obviously, we'll keep working through the other stuff also. But definitely kind of different and kind of cool to look back at some of these records. Bought a 53 Super for $20 in 1988. So, like I said, if you guys like that stuff, we'll keep working that in as well. So something a little bit different for the flashback segment tonight, and mix some of that stuff in with it as well. It's just kind of cool looking back at, we've got actual records. We all know that back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of this stuff was pretty reasonable and pretty cheap. Dad kept all these records. Dad says that was just all parts cars, but some of the cars, like the General Lee's in there, so I know that some of the better cars you sold are in the sold part too. So I seen the General Lee card the other day. So some good positive comments about that stuff as well. So something a little extra we can add in there. Hope you guys enjoy that stuff too. Fog lamp. The Chevy one, Gene, is that the one we're talking about? I got a lot of fog lamps, so. Let's catch some ads. Classified ad time. Going back to 1960. Going with Motor Trend this time. The 1960 Motor Trend. And one dead mosquito. Yes, Motor Trend had classified ads back in the day. Hey, there's our compacts right there. The Falcon, the Corvair, and the Valiant. But let's get to the classifieds. That's what we're here for, right? Classifieds. If you guys want to see anything else in this magazine, let me know. But we're going to focus on the classifieds right now. Sell and swap in the 1960 Motor Trend. Let's see what was for sale. 1946 Lincoln Continental convertible, black with white top, all new wide whites, excellent condition. $1,695. That was a fortune in 1960 for a used car, even if it was a Lincoln convertible. $1,695 was a ton of money. How much is this 47 Lincoln Continental hardtop in excellent condition by original owner with a 52 CAD V8 engine? $1,500. Oh, this thing's pretty interesting. We've even got a picture on this one. Glad you enjoy it, Jeff. Chrysler Powered Special. Banger fiberglass body, stock engine, Chrysler drivetrain, excellent mechanical condition, needs repainting, canvas top plus tonneau cover. So this is an aftermarket body with a Chrysler drivetrain, fiberglass, and remember when 1960, best offer over $700. It's this one right here. Nice, Pete. That sounds like a good score. Don't have to have too much cool stuff in there for $20. 31 DeSoto 4-door. Excellent condition. New paint. No rust. Run anywhere. $400. Here's an interesting one. This is big money for 1960. A 38 Rolls-Royce drop head coupe. Coachwork by Southern Motors. 5-position top. Beautiful classic. $2,950. $3,000 in 1960. That was, but there again, it was a 38 Rolls, but still, that was a ton of money in 1960. How about this? A 1924 Franklin Coupe. Model 10C, air-cooled, recently entirely reconditioned, repainted, reupholstered, new tires, excellent running order, inspected and passed by Motor Vehicle Bureau, $2,500. So the same thing as Adam's grandpa's car, only this one was a coupe. How about that, guys? How did that all tie together tonight? The Franklin cap, the Franklin that Adam posted on the Nobody's page, and then we've got a Franklin in the Classified As tonight. It's a whole slug of Franklin tonight. We got a crash course in Franklin knowledge. Not that anybody probably cared, but we got one. So in 1960, that restored Franklin they were asking $2,500 for it. '33 Plymouth convertible with rumble seat and folding windshield, wire wheels, Continental spare, good tires, poor top, best offer over $300. 30 LaSalle custom Fleetwood 4-door convertible Phaeton, new top, new tires, restored body, best offer over $950. Here's an interesting one, definitely out of our wheelhouse, but definitely interesting nonetheless. 1937 Bugatti Type 57 5-passenger coupe. It has a picture. This looks like the stupid expensive Bugattis that we see selling at big auctions today. Yeah, like 10 million. 37, that was an Atalante. That was probably a specialty one. Yeah, these things are like $750,000. This 1937 Bugatti Type 57, they've seen some auction results around $750,000. In 1960, you could pick this one up for the bargain basement price of $2,200. But there again, that was a fortune in 1960. You know, a good used car was probably $300 or $400. So $2,200 was a ton of money in 1960. A neat car, very neat car, very good looking car. 41 Roadmaster Sport Coupe. Black lacquer, wide whites, tinted glass, original dual carb engine, very nice. $495. Graham Hollywood Special with a Studebaker V8. It does not have a price on that one. Another 47 Lincoln convertible. This one with a 54 Lincoln power plant, which would be overhead valve, black, new white top, white Naugahyde upholstery, wide whites, $850. That sounds a little more reasonable than those other Lincolns that we looked at earlier. But I think that Graham Hollywood, that may have been the cord body. The Skylark may have been some other company used that cord body as well. So I'd have to. You kind of got me thinking on that now, Pete. I'll have to double check that. '25 Chevrolet sedan, completely restored, new metallic blue paint, reupholstered, new tires, engine rebuilt with new parts. So this is a fully restored 1925 Chevrolet. $1,800. Hollywood was correct. Okay. So the Skylark was somebody else, but they used that body as well. But what we've got to remember we're talking 1960. So this 1925 Chevrolet You know, that car was now 30. That was a 35-year-old car. That's what people were restoring at that point in time. So that's what that was the classic car world at that point. You know, the cars that are crazy popular today, that, you know, 60s, 70s, and 80s stuff hadn't even been built yet. So that was a ton of money for a 25 Chevy, but that's where the collector car world was at. The crazy part about it is for $400 more, you could have had the Bugatti. And I'm pretty sure there's not too many 25 Chevrolet sedans that are going to knock down $750,000 in today's world. So the Bugatti probably would have been the better buy at that point. However, it probably would have been, you know, the Chevy was probably a little more desirable car because more people were familiar with it at that point. 41 Lincoln with its V12, not customized, fair condition, $650. Few more to catch back here. Looks like we even got an airflow in here and a few wanted ads. So let's wrap up the sell and swap here in this 1960 motor trend. Here we go, 39 gram. Supercharged 4-door, overdrive, all factory overhauled, new front axle, spindles, tires, brakes, perfect condition, no restoration needed. So this is a 39 gram. I don't remember if the shark nose was used in 39 as well, but we're fixing to find out. Yes, slightly different variation on the grill, but 39 gram, basically the same car as the 38 we just looked at. So, in 1960, you could pick one of these up, a supercharged car in excellent condition, $1,500. That's right, not farm. You got to factor in the incomes as well at that point in time. Oh, this is cool. I've seen a few of these. Miniature 1956 Pontiac convertible. Fiberglass, 71 inches long. Never installed, brand new. I have seen a few of those. There was one at Meekum a few years ago when we were there at Indy. $15 for the. They were a go-kart body, basically, is what they were. Another Lincoln. Holy cow! 48 Lincoln convertible V12 overdrive, clean and solid, leather interior, special ordered for a Hollywood personality. $1,500. 41 Cadillac Club Coupe, showroom condition, mechanically perfect, 53,000 miles, two-tone green, drive anywhere, $1,500. More, I don't know what the deal was with Lincolns this month in 1960. 1940 Lincoln convertible with a 53 Ford engine, new white paint, top upholstery, good radio, body perfect, no rust, $1,600. 47 Lincoln V8 convertible coupe. Easily restorable to new condition. So this one was just a driver that needed work, but it was $225. How about this one? A 47 Lincoln with a nail head in it. I think half their classifieds this month were Lincolns. Bad month to try to sell Lincolns. If you were in the market, you had a wide selection in this month's mag, in this month's issue. This one packing nail head power. Original leather interior, new carpets, good paint, $950. '39 Cadillac. Good tires, original paint and upholstery, good running condition, $295. Ooh, big money. What's funny is we just had one of these come into the yard. It's rough, but we have a video on it here soon. Continental Mark II, One of America's finest luxury cars, like new condition, only 23,000 miles, silver with white top, gray and red leather interior. Sacrifice $4,500. Original cost was $10,800. So this car probably had air conditioning. That was the only option available on the Continental Mark II. They made them for 2 years, 56 and 57, into 55 to early 57. And they made, depending on what source you look at, 2,000 to 3,000 cars. The only option available was air conditioning. So, and they cost $10,000 new. So this must have had air conditioning if it cost $10,800 new, $4,500. And one more, we've got a picture of this 1935 DeSoto Airflow. Very good condition. Drive anywhere, owner's manual included. We do not have a price on it, but we'll check it out anyway because we've got a picture of the 35 DeSoto Airflow. Yep, those cars were 10 grand in 56. Hence the production numbers of somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 cars. And believe it or not, Ford lost money on them, selling them at 10 grand. That's going to be a fun video to do. I'm going to get that car up in the air. We're going to put it up on the rack and look underneath that car too, because it's so unique on the bottom side on how those cars were constructed. So we're going to spend some time with that Continental Mark II. But yes, they were 10 grand in 56. Swap, 1916 Indian Twin. That's got to be a rare motorcycle. Good condition, new tires and tubes, new paint and chrome, which sell or trade for something in the $300 to $500 value. Wanted, Cord Model 812 Supercharged Convertible Phaeton. Wanted, 39 Hupmobile 4-door. Another wanted ad for a supercharged Cord. So, which it's kind of crazy. There's only a few wanted ads in here, but kind of crazy to think that, you know, that's the stuff that was getting collectible. People were starting to pay attention to it in 1960. So those are the classified ads for the August 1960 issue of Motor Trend. And with that, that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. That kind of wraps up. That gets everything checked off of my list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, be sure to get your chances in for the Cord Hubcap raffle next week. Like I said, I'm going to be out of town, but I'm thinking I'll be home on Sunday. But I'll try to put something up. If nothing else, I guess I can put it on the No Buddies page. Since the YouTube stuff isn't working where you can put up a notice, we'll see how that goes. What's coming up this week? We'll catch Toy Tuesday live. I got to get that Pioneer Village video up on the adoption. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Kevin L. wrapping it up with Supercharged Super Chat right there at the end. Thanks, Kevin L. Boom, right there. Wrapping it up on a high note there. Thanks, Kevin L. And I see a 55 Buick Special video coming up, the 56 Chevy Bel Air video coming up, and plus all that stuff. We've been shooting a lot of great stuff coming up, plus the Pioneer Village stuff, the Auburn Court Duesenberg stuff. I've got almost, there you go, Briggs. We're going to slide one of those in there too. Let's give you a double whammy, actually. Oh, look at that. Big Rig Brett hitting us with one more right at the end. Supercharged Super Chat from Big Rig Brett. Boom. I appreciate the Super Chats, guys. Helps keep things going. Thanks for those. And like I said, I think I've got close to 20 videos shot right now. So we've got a lot of great stuff coming up. I know you guys are going to like that 56 Bel Air video. Pete obviously did. it's a pretty neat old car. I like four-door hardtops. I really do. I think they had great lines. And that's what they were designed for, the convenience of the four-door, but the style of a hardtop. This car does not have a motor or tranny, but other than that, it's only missing the front bumper, I think. So I think this car could be built. But we'll see what the future holds for it. But it's a neat car, so I think you guys are going to like it. Hey, there's Glenn. And with that, we're going to wind things down for tonight. Appreciate you guys all being here, stopping by, making this what it is. Appreciate everybody's support. Yep, we're hoping you can be here for next week, Briggs. Hope all you guys can be back here next week. And stay tuned. We'll catch those videos coming up this week. It's some cool stuff. I think you guys are going to dig it. I looked at it the other day, Scott. Give me a call. I think it was a left side that I had. And I'll tell you what it needs, because it had a couple little spots that need fixed. So anyway, that's right. Like Kevin says, everybody have a great week. We'll see some of you Tuesday evening for some Toy Tuesday. And then hopefully we'll see you back here next Sunday night in some way, shape, or form. Even if I'm not here, we'll try to jump on for a bit. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see some of you Tuesday. Stay tuned for the new videos coming out. And we will catch you soon. Sounds good, Brett. Glad you're home. Thanks to you guys for being here, making it. It's just you guys show up and make it what it is. Your guys' comments, your participation, you guys are what make this what it is. So thanks to you guys for being here and supporting it. Invite your friends over. Have them come join us. And we'll see you all next Sunday night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.